Hey, my name is John Braithwaite. I'm a provisional member of Corrymeela, and today is the 3rd of December 2020. So today I'm looking forward to meeting a Corrymeela member of many years and hearing her story. So can I ask you, Mona, to tell us your name and where you're from, please?
My name is Mona McGinn. I come from Craigavon and I'm a retired nurse. I formerly lived in Katy and moved to Craigavon in 1970, which was supposed to be the new town known as Brownlow. And I became involved in, do you want to fill me in another bit?
Yes, go ahead.
I have 4 children, a son and 3 daughters. 2 daughters lives in Melbourne in Australia, and they have 2 daughters each. I have another daughter lives in England, and she has 2 daughters, and I have a son who lives outside Jordanstown, and he has a boy and 2 girls. So most of the family's away, except for my son.
Yes.
Who is, and they have all been involved in Corrymeela at some part of their lives. Even my grandchildren have came when I've been doing family weeks in Corrymeela, and all enjoy being there.
Okay, very good. What is the age range of your grandchildren from what to what?
The oldest is 25.
Right.
I have 2 great grandchildren as well.
Oh my word.
25 down to 10.
Right, good. Quite an age spread.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
seven girls and 2 boys.
Right, okay. Boys are very special there in that family then. Mm. Let's start at the beginning of your story with Corrymeela. So can you tell me how and when you first became involved with Corrymeela?
I first became involved with Corrymeela in 1976. We were living in Craigavon in Brownlow area, and the community relations, we had a community group there, and the community relations police and various people got together and thought this is the opportunity to have a new town where it will be all integrated and a new beginning in the start of the Troubles. So we decided to spend a weekend in Corrymeela in March in the old house, very, very cold.
Nice.
Ray was there at that time, and John Morrow and Shirley. So we had a very informative weekend, very good, and a lot of support. And then when we come back home, the community relations policeman, who was Brian Lally, he said to me, we need to get families involved at Corrymeela. So he said, I said, that's fine. But he said, but you need to go with them because you're the only one here who would have an interest in them. So they would need to have somebody that has been in Corrymeela to go with them. So after freezing for a weekend in the old house, I wasn't looking forward to going back for another cold spell. But anyway, we organised a family group with the help of then NSPCC and Pax Christi to fund it. And the families came from Belfast and Craigavon. The first group of families was 41 years ago. I have a funny story in that one of these family groups. We went. Doug Baker had a group over from America, very highly intellectual group of graduates, all male, and I had a lot of one-parent families. One being quite a nice, very attractive-looking blonde girl, and she she eyed up one of these Doug's friends, one of these men, and Doug said, we have to keep them separated. We don't want to be getting relationships. So we had a barn dance anyway, organized. And Doug said, no, we'll have to keep them separated. And I said, well, we'll try. So I was busy. And then I said to this other girl, I said, June, would you, you're sitting out there. She was sitting knitting. And I said, June, would you keep your eye? And if you see my friend here disappearing, I said, will you come and tell me? And she said, oh, well, yeah. So anyway, we went on, and I came in to see June, and June was sitting really fits of laughter. And I said, June, what's so funny? And she said, he was that, June called me. She said that Yank was sitting talking to Paula, and he said, Claire, she asked where he came from. And she said, he said, I came from Texas. And he says, do you know where that is? And she said, the do it's up at the top of the Armour Road. So that was the funny story from one of them groups.
So was that the end of a beautiful relationship then? That
was the end of it. Doug was happy. Doug was happy that that was the end of it.
Yes. Mona, can I ask you to move a wee bit more into the middle of the picture? You keep going off the edge of it there. That's it. That's better now.
That's it.
Yeah, that's great. We don't want to lose you.
So that was funny, and Ray used to love hear that story.
Yes, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So just thinking of the weekend that you spent in Corrymeela, first of all, was that the first time you'd heard of Corrymeela then?
I had heard of it, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was the place away down there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what, apart from the cold, what was your impression of what they were planning to do there? What Ray was hoping to do there?
It was what we needed to happen, you know, because here with us in the new, what was supposed to be a new town, and this is what we wanted. We wanted to try and get families together from both across the divide, both religions. Okay. And we thought this was because of a new place, if we would get the families integrated as they moved from different areas. This was our hope then.
Yes.
Because the troubles were starting, and the people were starting to come from, been out from Portadown and Lurgan, and from Belfast. We got a lot of people from Belfast that had to get out because of the troubles. Yes.
So that first group that you took there, was it roughly equally balanced between Protestant families and Catholic families?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you remember? How did they get on, or what were their first impressions of Corrymeela?
Well, it was the unknown. They were frightened. They didn't know what they were coming into. Mm-hmm. But once they got there, and none of them knew other when they came.
Right.
But once they came there, they really made friends. A lot of them are still friends with each other.
Is that right?
There was a family. There was a lady whose husband was shot. He was a policeman, and he was shot in Lurgan. And I had taken her. She had came as her and another lady, and they lived in a predominantly Protestant area of Lurgan. And when they come back after Corrymeela, they moved out into Craigavon so there could be an integrated housing place. They'd never met. They'd never communicated with Protestants or Catholics. And that weekend, we had a young fella with the community relations group who was at university, and he had never spoken to a Catholic priest. We had a priest with us, a parish priest had come, but he had never spoken to a Catholic priest in all his life. And him and Monsignor Murray, you called the priest, they became really good friends. Alan was Methodist, but they became, up until Monsignor died, they were still friends.
Right, okay. And did you have any difficulties between the families when you were there?
Well, over the years, yeah, as the progress, we.
Yes, I was thinking of that first group though, really.
Oh, not the first group, no.
No.
They really, they all wanted to stay on. They didn't want to go back home again.
Right. So
And it was a week.
What do you think helped them to relax and to enjoy the time at Corrymeela? You said they were a bit afraid going. They didn't know what they were getting into, but what helped them to relax and to enjoy it?
Well, I think it was the atmosphere. First, they loved the site. They were really impressed by where they were at the site, and the staff were so nice and made them all feel equal.
Right.
The staff that was there. So
good. Well, that's a good memory for the first one. So then you all went back home again, and what tell us more of your story from then on.
Well, every year after that, I ended up taking a group down. So for 41 years, I took groups.
Right, that's a long time.
Well, when I got to 25 years, I thought I would resign. I said, that's it. So then I went on, and I think they were tired in the kitchen baking me a cake for every time I was resigning.
Right.
But it just went on, because I would say, well, there's nobody else to go with them. Nobody else knows Corrymeela like you. So
yes.
I just kept going on. But and the family's got a lot of big problems with them. There was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse and domestic violence and you name it.
Right.
Some nights I sit up all night.
Right.
Talking to them and reassuring them. And
yeah, we
had a family came from Belfast, and she had 8 children.
Right.
And after she didn't want to be there, and after spending hours getting her settled and getting the children to bed, we were all in bed and everything was settled. And at 1 o'clock, the fire alarm went off. Which we used to go off very frequently at that time. So she was going to get a black taxi to take her home to Belfast immediately.
Right.
She had come away from the troubles in Belfast, and she was back into them here. But yes. We got her settled, and she enjoyed being there after that.
Right. So were they always a mixture of families from Belfast and from Craigavon?
Yeah, at the beginning there was when Pax Christi and the NSPC were involved, and then when they pulled out, they were no longer funding. We started it was just Craigavon families, and community relations then used to give me funding, and right. St. Vincent de Paul. So on the latter years, it's all been Craigavon families.
Right. So would they all have been families that you knew then yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not maybe no one so much, because I worked with St. Vincent de Paul and would have come across them through them, and would have the local schools. I would have asked the local schools, and the local minister, Myrtle, she had been very good. She was knowing the families that needed a breakaway. She was right. Church of Ireland minister.
Right. Okay. And so, did you have to persuade families to go, or were they eager to go mostly?
Sometimes they would have been a bit. Well, I don't know what this is about, and is it all Catholics or is it all Protestants? And and you're taking people out of their own comfort zone.
Yes.
And to bring them somewhere where they didn't know about. But once they got there, they didn't want to leave. And every year they kept saying, could we go back again?
Right.
But,
good. Well, that's a good recommendation. And but did you take them back again, or was only one chance for people to go?
some of them that really needed a break back again were taken back again. And then I, about 5 years ago, I went to a house, and this man answered the door, and I said, "I'm looking for your wife." And he said, "What's it about?" And I said, "It's about Corrymeela." And he said, "Are you Mona?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You had me there when I was 10 years of age."
Right.
So
Yeah.
he was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, my word. Okay. Well, can you tell us any of the families that stick in your mind, ones that it had a particular effect on going to Corrymeela? Can you tell us any other stories or incidents that
I
you
think
remember?
that policeman's wife,
Mm-hmm.
it had a big, because he had been shot at the barrier in Lurgan, and she had a wee boy about 3, and he did not leave her. She, as she said, she used to wash the dishes with him hanging around her. She could
Right.
not get rid of that child, couldn't. And I said to her, Peggy, I said to her one day, Peggy, I said, "I'm going down to the beach and I'm taking David with me." And she said, "He'll not leave." And I said, "I'm taking him." So I said, "Right, David, come on." And he said, "I'm leaving." And I said, "Come on." So I put him in a prayer and away I went. And she said that was the first time from her husband died that child had ever been apart from her.
Right.
And it really, she really loved that break that she got.
I'm sure.
And she moved away. But
she moved away from the area then, did she?
She moved away from the area she was out into an integrated state.
Right. So when the families came back home again, then would there have been any follow-up with them? Did they ever have a chance to meet each other again, or what?
The families would, because I didn't actually have a follow-up with them, didn't plan follow-up with them, but the families themselves exchanged addresses and phone numbers and continued to meet and keep together. And some of them would ring me and say, "Well, we've met up and I met with this one." And if any of them had any problems, some of them would ring me and say, "Oh, so-and-so not having financial problems or something." And they all, like, they really kept together, a really close bond.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
And their children.
Right. So when you first went to Corrymeela, obviously you weren't a member. So at what stage did you become a member of Corrymeela then?
I became a member, I think, probably 5 years after that.
Right. And can you tell us what really led up to that? What made you want to become a member?
I was approached a few times and said, "Why aren't you a member?" By members, they said, why aren't you a member? And I said, I just never thought much about it, but I thought it'd be good then to join and become a member.
Yes.
It was Shirley Morrow talked me around most about it.
Right. So was John the leader when you became a member then? Was her husband John? Yeah. Okay. Right. So what if you could look back over all those years, those 41 years, and I'm sure it's hard for you, but can you pick out what you think are what's the best moment, the best memory that you have of those family weeks?
We had a Belfast lady there one week, and she used to tell the story of her life. Every night she would tell a wee bit of her story, and Ray and John would have said, "What time's the story starting at?" And I would say, "Well, we'll get them all to bed." So it started at 10 o'clock, And she used to tell a bit of her story of her life in Belfast, and some of it was hilarious, and it was, you know, they really enjoyed it, and it was one of the highlights of the years there.
Right. Like a serial? Does it last
It was a
all week?
serial, yeah. And Ray would said, "Now, when's the serial starting?" And no.
Good. What part of the city was she from? What part of Belfast was
He's
she
from
from?
around the Falls Road somewhere.
Right. Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, that's one of the highlights. So can you think of any really difficult time that you had in those family weeks?
Yeah, lots of them. I had the police there. I had a family that the community relations police had said to me, they would have been involved with me too, and they had asked me to take this family along, and I said that's fine. And they didn't give me any history about it, but when I got her to Corry, when they got off the bus, her son had there's another family on the bus of two with twin boys, and this family had terrorized these children coming from school and had beat them up, and the mother was tagged because she was out on probation. Right. And nobody had told me about that, and she produced a knife to somebody. She was drinking, produced a knife, so we had to get her taken off site by the police. Right. But it was. And then one other year I sent a family home because they had been drinking and I'd been telling them, and I'd sent them home, and a car arrived with about 3 huge, big tattooed lads from the UVF or the UDA or some of the paramilitaries, wanting to know why their sister was sent home.
All right.
And David Robinson was there and John Maloney at the time, 2 volunteers, and David, John, and they were going for John, and I said, it's nothing to do. I came along and I said, it's nothing to do with John. I said, it's he's responsible, and they were looking right out on the sides of me. But no, that was.
So what happened then? Did they go away?
They did, but because I said to them, it's my decision to send her, nobody else's. And I said, you know, you bet. I said, and if you don't go, I said, I'll call the police. I said, I'll call the police, and they did. The circle round, there used to be, the old house, do you remember there used to be a big stone and a circle around it?
Yes.
The circle round that and burnt rubber for about 15 minutes before they definitely went.
All right. Just demonstrating their anger.
Just demonstrating their power.
Yes. Right. Well, scary enough, I'm sure. So did the community relations police, did they come with you on the weekends?
The very first time I took some families, 2 of them came. They came and stayed 2 days. But that particular day that they said, your woman, there was none of them there at that time.
No, right. Okay. Right. So do you think that those weeks in Corrymeela has made a difference to those families? Obviously, gave them a week's holiday.
Yeah.
What sort of a difference do you think it's made?
It learned them to meet other people of different religions and different races, and even yet they'll talk about the experience had in Corrymeela, the support they had, and how nice the people were and how supportive they were, that they didn't single them out, that made them feel equal. And
yes. Great. So it has made a lasting impression on them.
It has made it, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. And how would you say Corrymeela has made a difference in your life? What difference do you think it has made in your life?
Well, I suppose it has given me a lot of support, and I've made a lot of really good long time friends that I'm still be involved with. And it just showed me that there is hope there.
Right.
For a better word.
Yes. Good. Well, that's very important. And obviously, you said your family have all been involved at Corrymeela. Did they? Was that just going to the family weeks, or how did that come about?
Oh, they came along and helped in the family weeks while they were, and then they came back when they were married and helped as well.
All right.
And funny, my daughter in Australia rang me the other day, and she said to me, "Do you know Ursula is very ill?" This was a mother that I had away years ago, and I said, "How did you?" And she said, "Her daughter rang me to tell me the mother was ill." So I was telling it to my son because he was there the year that Ursula was there, and she had a baby. And Tony said to her, "What do you call the baby?" And she says, "Nikita." And he says, "It's a strange name." And she said, "Well, there was a bottle of vodka named, there was a bottle of vodka on the table when I was going to labour." And she said, and I called her after it, it was called Nikita Brandy. So Tony said, "Ursula, I'm very glad it wasn't a tin of Guinness," she said. But that was, and that's gone way back. Nikita's about 41 now, the daughter.
Goodness. Right. Okay. So have any of your family become Corrymeela members?
No. Well, I have two daughters in Australia who are away, and the other in England, and the only one here's my son.
Yes.
He just tests the eyes of all the Corrymeela staff.
He what?
He just tests the eyes. He's an optometrist in the Army Centre, so he gets all the Corrymeela staff.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, obviously you've been involved at the front line of families that have not had the opportunity to meet others of the opposite persuasion in our province. You've been involved in bringing them together. So could you say what reconciliation really means to you?
Well, it's about building bridges between other people and harmony in the lives of others, I feel. It's about building up relationships and
yes,
with people of different class, creeds, and
yes. And it seems to have been your experience that when the bridge is built to bring them together, that people are very willing to go across those bridges.
Yeah, once you get them,
yeah, once you get them in the right sort of setting.
Once you get them in the right setting, and Corrymeela has like the right setting for them because it's so calm and peaceful and tranquil, and it's a sight as well. When they get there, it's mind-blowing for them to see. Some of them never. I had a family who had never been to the sea and had never been to the seaside.
Right. Goodness. Well, the outlook from there must have amazed them.
Yeah, and she was a mum of what, about 28, 29, and had two children, and she had never been to the seaside.
That's incredible, isn't it? When we live on an island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. Well, is there anything else that springs to mind of your involvement with Corrymeela that you'd like to tell us? Any wee stories or incidents stick in your mind that you haven't had a chance to tell us?
The Summerfest, always liked the Summerfest, was always enjoyed it. It was very good.
Yes.
And I think in that time there was more a friendly atmosphere, probably, you know, with the families coming because they're there for a week, and now it's only a matter of a couple of days. The last time they were there for a week, and you were able to give them more support and give them a longer break. And but
Right. Well,
things.
a question I haven't asked you is, you've done this for 41 years. Have you stopped doing it now? Have you retired finally, or are you still doing it?
Well, I couldn't. The cost got too much.
All right.
We couldn't afford it because the families that I would bring would have couldn't afford to pay for a holiday anywhere, and I was getting St. Vincent de Paul to support them, and most of the families that were coming were maybe getting help with St. Vincent throughout the year, but it got too expensive.
Right.
So I wasn't here. I wasn't there last year because of the expense of it.
Oh, right. Okay.
And community relations, you see, community relations, they had stopped funding it. So.
Okay. So there aren't any other sources of funding that you know of?
No. I've tried Craig. I tried Craigavon Council back years ago when John Moore was leader, and he said to me, "Mona, were you at Craigavon Council?" And I said I was. He said it was in the Belfast Telegraph, and I said right. And he said, "What did they say?" And I said, one of the councillors said, "I don't need to go to Corrymeela to learn to live with my Catholic neighbours." And I said, "But it's a mixed community. It's the Centre of Reconciliation." And he said, "Oh, it's all Catholic." And I said, "It's not." I said, "Because the minister," I said, "the leader is a Presbyterian minister." And he said to me, "Is he free?" And I said, "No, he has 4 children." So I didn't get any money from them.
Right. Oh, well, that's a pity. But obviously, 41 years, you have given such a lot to so many families. The number of people that you must have met through that time is amazing. So thank you very much.
I got back a lot.
Did you?
I got back a lot from it.
Right.
As much as I give, I always find I got. It was lovely to see them going back, standing outside the bus, waiting on the bus, and them were crying and saying, "Could we please stay?" and making friends. And and my family all said, and that when they came to, they got more back than they put into it.
Right.
It was to see the families happy, and you know.
Yes.
But,
that was its own reward. Well, thank you very much for telling us your story. Now that's been very interesting for me, and I look forward to meeting you face to face someday soon.
Okay, right. Okay, nice meeting you.